Ladies and gentlemen, we're about to begin the funeral service. We ask for those that have a cell phone or pager, if you could turn it to the silent mode. Officiating is Rabbi Eliezer Dimarsky.
מזמור לדוד, אדוני רואי לא יחסור, בנוס דשא ירביצני על מי מנוחוס ינקלני. נפשי שובב ינחני במעגלי צדק למען שמו. גם כי אלה בגיא צלמוות לא ירא כי אתה עמדי. שבתך ומשענתך המה ינחמוני. תערוך לפני שולחן נגד צורריי, דשנת בשמן ראשי כוס רוויה. אך טוב החסד ירדפוני כל ימי חיי, ושבתי בבית אדוני לאורך ימים. We came here to honor the life and the memory of a special man who played a very important role in the lives of many people here. Peter, or Pavlik, as close family and friends knew him, despite a lot of ups and downs in his life, starting with basically since he was 1 year old, managed to build a family, a legacy, great memories. His life started with a loss when he was just 1 year old. War broke out in Russia, former Soviet Union, and he grew up without a father. He lost his father in the war. He was the only child. And it's not surprisingly that his bond with his mother was till the last day, her day. He was great, very devoted son. And for her, of course, he was a light of her life. He never was scared of any work. He was gifted with his hands. He could fix everything. And again, it's not a surprise. People reached out to him and asked him, and he never refused. He went through the army years in Russia, which is also a very harsh time and a very harsh place. And after that, he met a special person in his life, Shelia. And despite the age difference, she was only 16 then. Think about this. Yeah, probably granddaughters are right that age. But he saw something in her that he was willing to wait. And he waited for years, and eventually they got married. And now we see the beautiful results of this marriage. Larissa, Elana, Rihanna, Juliana, Samantha. This is like a fruits on a tree with a very strong roots. And together with Shelia, they went through a lot. When I say he was gifted, he knew languages. He knew German that helped him to speak when the family just left Russia and landed in Austria. He spoke German. Then family came to America, and he, despite of the fact that he built a career already, when he was very young, but he already built a career in former Soviet Union as electrical engineer, and coming here, he had to start from the beginning. He had one daughter, then soon another daughter, and he was determined. He was determined to build a good life for his family. He always grew inside. He always learned something new, whether it's computers or any technical or not technical thing, and therefore he instilled in his daughters this love and value of education, and it passed to next generation, and he was willing to pay for college to make sure that even granddaughter and other granddaughters will get education, because he believed that this is knowledge is strength. Knowledge is the ticket to success. And he led this by example. He didn't just sat and said, it's important to learn. The best example of parents do is they show, they actions speak louder than words. And the way he lived and constantly learned something new, that's how he wanted his daughters and his family to be. And he was very proud. He was very proud of his daughters. And now looking back, we can say that really he grew through all these hardships. He became a very special man, very strong physically, but also strong in spirit, determined, knew how to achieve results, and always valued his family. It was number one always for him. He loved people. He had not many, but very good friends who stayed for life. And Hill is here, one of them, his best friend. He loved everything around him, whether it's animals, birds, bushes, flowers, gardening. He loved life. He was very happy coming here. He saw the future. He saw, not just he foresaw the future, but he actually was lucky to see that future. To see how his daughters grew up, to see his granddaughters growing up, and he felt very lucky. He felt very lucky that he made a right move, and he created a lot of good memories, which I'm sure will go. People say as long as we remember, person lives. If this is true, he will live for a long, long time, because he created great memories. He was a special person, and may his memory be always associated with something nice and warm and blessed. And I would like to invite Alana to say a few words.
Thank you. Okay, I don't know if I'll be able to do this, but I'm going to try. Thank you, everyone, for being here. I wish we were here under different circumstances, but because you are here, it means you have love for my dad, Peter. So today and from now on, we will celebrate our dad and his life. I want to let everyone know what he means to us and how special he is. First of all, we are so proud of him in so many ways. He's a fighter. He fought hard in his life and until his last breath. His strength got him through the difficult times. He taught us the rules that he lived by. He had so many, but these were the important ones for him. First, to always be smart and make good decisions. Second, be humble, which he was. Third, don't brag. With all of his accomplishments he had, every single right to brag, but he played it cool and never thought he was better than anyone else. Fourth, be good to people, but don't stand for their bullshit. It never mattered to him what your status was, as long as you were a good person with a good heart, and he had the most beautiful heart. The way he loved his family and friends, you felt it. And if he didn't like you, you felt it too, and you would know it very quickly. He always had the best advice, even though the discussions would last over 2 hours, and it was always longer than expected. It's because he was logical and really thought deeply about what you were asking of him. He always explained in a way where you have options, and I always felt so much better after I talked to him. He was sharp in many ways. He was sharp in many ways, in the way he dressed and the way his brain worked. Sorry. He can take anything apart and make it better. For instance, in the 1980s, he made a cable box for everyone in the neighborhood. It worked better than the real deal. It may have been illegal, but he did it for free, if that counts. Neighbors were knocking on his door because they heard about the box and they were willing to pay him. Besides the cable box incident, he was very honest, sometimes a little too honest. If you weren't ready to hear the truth, you shouldn't ask him. He was also a little grumpy, and it's okay, he was almost perfect. He lived his life to the fullest. He had fun, with no regrets. He never looked back. He learned from his mistakes and only looked ahead, because in his eyes, he was never wrong. That's about 99% true. He would help anyone who asked and needed it when he could, and even when he couldn't and had nothing, and he never expected anything in return. That's the kind of person he is. He is unconditional love. He came to America with a dream, as most immigrants do, from the old USSR 48 years ago, with his wife and daughter. When they settled in the US, the best thing happened to them. A year later, I was born. Life at that time wasn't easy for them in any way. Not knowing the language made it more difficult. They both worked really hard to build a life they loved. They showed us what a family is. We will miss him. We will miss him tremendously. Life will never be the same without him here. Our hearts hurt. We will have beautiful memories that will be eternal. Dad, thank you for being who you are and making us strong, teaching us the importance in life. But of course, not without our mom by your side, who is also strong, resilient, and incredible. How my mom took care of my dad will always be a blessing for us. Dad, we feel at peace knowing that you are pain-free, enjoying your best afterlife, and fly free to your paradise. Until we meet again, you will be missed by so many. I will miss your phone calls, hearing your voice, talking to you, just about everything. You will always be our angel. We miss you so much and will always love you deeply. Thank you.
Thank you, Alon. After learning and hearing so much about Peter, if I was a child and somebody would ask me to draw a picture of him, I would probably draw like 2 hands and a heart. That's what he was. Great hands and a golden heart. I'll say a final prayer where we ask God to remember Peter's life, everything he accomplished, and asking God to grant his soul the highest possible place among the most righteous. I would ask everybody rise and in the end answer Amen. Please rise. El male rachamim, shoichen bamrovomim. Hamtze menucha nechona al kanfei השכינה. במעלות קדושים וטהורים, כזוהר הרקיע מזכירים. אס נשמס פיטר בן סמיאל שהלך לעולמו. בעבור שמשפחתו תיתן לצדוקה בת אזכורס נשמסו. בגן עדן תהיה מנוחסו. לכן בעל הרחמים יסתירהו בססר כנפיו לעולמים. ויצרור בצרור החיים אס נשמסו, אדוני הוא נחלסו. וינוח בשלום על משכבו, ונאמר אמן. Please take your seats.
This concludes the funeral service here at the chapel. The interment will take place at Willow Lawn Cemetery, which is approximate 15-minute drive from the cemetery. For those who will be driving to the cemetery, we'll be lining up on the west side of our building. We will be placing a magnetic flag on your vehicle, and we ask that you drive as close as safety permits to the vehicle in front of you. We also ask to avoid speaking or texting on your cellular phones while driving to a cemetery. At the conclusion of the interment, the family will be getting together at Jameson's Straw House at 151 East Town Line Road in Vernon Hills, where they will be there afterwards for a luncheon, and everybody here is invited. If we can all rise and stand in place and have Jean, Alex, and Jose come forward and act as pallbearers. Once we've left the chapel, we ask everybody to go back to the vehicles. You want to be close first before we go outside? Let's go. Oh, wait a minute. You can rise. We'll wait for a minute. What do you mean? No, it was on. Oh, really? No, I thought it was on. We'll wait for a minute. We'll wait for a minute. I mean, at the same thing. Walk out. What? Yeah, let me take the flower off first. Give me 1 second. Right back. Well, the immediate family will go to the room and then we'll come back.
Yeah.